The notice board outside the cafeteria was covered with glittering posters. Winter Charity Dance, Saturday, 7 p.m. Students huddled in groups, chattering about dates, dresses, and decorations. Laughter floated through the crisp air. For most, it was just another event. For Liam, it was a reminder of everything he couldn't afford. He stood at the edge of the crowd, clutching a worn notebook and a half-empty cup of coffee. His scholarship barely covered rent. His part-time job at the campus cafe kept him fed, but there was never enough for extras like tickets or tuxedos. Still, when he saw her again, the nurse from the student clinic, the rest of the world seemed to blur away. Ava. She always wore her hair tied back neatly, her pale blue uniform spotless. Her smile wasn't the kind that dazzled, it soothed. When Liam had come in last week with a scraped palm from his shift unloading crates, she'd treated him like he mattered. No pity, no judgment. Just gentle kindness. Now, seeing her again by the fountain, talking softly with another nurse, Liam's chest tightened. His mind argued, she's out of your league. She probably has a boyfriend. She wouldn't say yes, but his heart refused to listen. He walked up before he could change his mind. Hi, Ava, right. She turned, surprised but polite. Yes, Liam, isn't it? How's your hand? He held it up sheepishly. Healing fast, thanks to you. Her smile made his pulse skip. The words tumbled out before he could stop them. Would you, maybe be my date to the dance? Silence. The fountain gurgled behind them. A few passing students glanced their way. Ava blinked. Me, you don't even know me that well. I know enough, he said, trying not to fidget. You're kind. You listen. And honestly, I'd rather go with someone real than anyone pretending to be perfect. Her lips curved, hesitant but amused. You're bold, Liam. He scratched his neck, cheeks flushing. Maybe just desperate. Ava chuckled softly, a light, melodic sound. After a pause, she said, all right. I'll go. For a second, Liam thought he'd misheard. But when she nodded, that soft smile returning, his heart soared. The boy who had nothing just found something worth everything. The days after Ava said yes passed in a warm, nervous blur. Liam couldn't stop replaying that moment. Her laugh, her, all right, I'll go, the disbelief that followed. He worked extra hours at the cafe, saving every coin for a suit. His coworkers teased him endlessly. Got yourself a date, huh? Grinned Marco, the barista. Hope she's not expecting a limo. Liam rolled his eyes, steaming milk for a latte. She's not like that. She's different. Different indeed, but not in the way he thought. While Liam counted coins, Ava sat in her small rented apartment, staring at her reflection. Her tidy nurse's uniform hung on the chair beside her, but her eyes drifted toward the photograph on her desk. Her father, Charles Sinclair, shaking hands with politicians at a charity gala. She was his only daughter, heir to one of the biggest medical corporations in the country. Everyone at the hospital knew her name, but not here. At the university clinic, she'd introduced herself simply as Ava Brooks, choosing her mother's maiden name. It wasn't a lie, just a way to live outside her father's shadow. She'd wanted to understand real people, those who struggled, those who worked, those who didn't have everything handed to them. And then she met Liam. He wasn't like anyone she knew. He didn't flirt for attention or fake charm. He looked at her as if she was someone, not something. That was new, and it scared her. Her best friend, Clara, noticed her distracted smile. Don't tell me you're falling for that student you treated. Ava hesitated. He asked me, to the dance. Clara nearly dropped her coffee. You're joking. Ava, your father would lose his mind. You can't just. I can. Ava interrupted softly. He doesn't need to know. Clara sighed. You're playing with fire. Maybe, Ava murmured, gazing out the window at the glowing campus below. But sometimes, fire is what makes you feel alive. That night, she opened her closet and pushed aside designer gowns, searching for something simple. Something real. A silver dress caught her eye, modest, graceful, untouched by luxury. She smiled faintly. For one night, she whispered, I'll just be Ava. Saturday night arrived with a chill in the air and fairy lights glowing like captured stars. The university's grand hall had been transformed. Garlands of silver and blue hung from the ceiling, Candles flickered on every table, and music swelled with laughter and excitement. Liam stood outside, nervously tugging at the borrowed black suit that didn't quite fit. His shoes were polished, though the shine couldn't hide the scuffed edges. He'd spent all week saving and even skipped meals just to afford a ticket. Yet none of that mattered now. Tonight, he wasn't just a poor student, he was a boy about to dance with the girl who made his world brighter. Then she appeared. Ava stepped through the entrance, her silver dress catching the light like moonbeams on water. Her hair was softly curled, her eyes shimmering with quiet grace. Every head turned as she entered, yet she seemed to look only for one face. When her gaze found Liam's across the hall, her lips curved into a small, genuine smile. "You look beautiful," he breathed as she reached him. "And you," she teased lightly, adjusting his crooked tie, "look less terrified than I expected." He laughed, and for a while, the night belonged only to them. They danced, awkwardly at first, then with growing confidence, swaying to the slow rhythm of violins. She laughed when he stepped on her toe, and he grinned when she called him hopeless but adorable. But perfection never lasts. Halfway through the evening, a local news crew entered to cover the charity event. Cameras flashed, reporters interviewed faculty and students. Ava thought nothing of it, until she heard her name. "Miss Ava Sinclair," the reporter announced brightly, daughter of CEO Charles Sinclair, attending tonight's university charity dance. The words hit the hall like a thunderclap. Conversations stopped, heads turned. Liam froze, the color draining from his face. Ava Sinclair. The name echoed in whispers. "That's the Sinclair heiress. She's his date. He's just a poor student." Ava's smile faltered. She hadn't planned for this. Not tonight. Liam stepped back, confusion and disbelief flooding his eyes. "Sinclair. You're her." Ava opened her mouth, but words wouldn't come. Around them, the music played on, soft and cruel, as reality shattered the fragile world they'd built between dance steps. The music kept playing, but for Liam, the sound felt distant, muffled by the rush of blood in his ears. Around them, people whispered and stared. Some pitied him, others looked amused. Ava's hand reached for his, but he stepped back, his eyes clouded with hurt. "So it's true?" he asked quietly. "You're Ava Sinclair, the CEO's daughter." Ava swallowed hard. "Liam, please, let me explain." He gave a shaky laugh. "Explain what?" "That I asked out someone pretending to be a nurse, when she's actually from the kind of world that looks down on guys like me." Her heart clenched. "I never pretended to be someone else. I am a nurse. I just didn't want anyone treating me differently because of my last name." "Then why hide it?" he shot back. "You think people like me wouldn't understand?" "No," she whispered. "I was afraid people wouldn't see me at all, just my father's money." The hall felt colder now. The cameras had moved on, but their conversation stayed suspended between them, raw and real. Ava's eyes shimmered, not with glamour, but with honesty. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Liam," she said softly. "You made me feel normal. Seen. Do you know how rare that is for someone like me?" He looked at her. Really looked. Past the expensive last name, past the whispers. The girl standing before him wasn't the untouchable heiress from the news. She was the same Ava who'd laughed when he spilled coffee, who'd bandaged his hand without judgment, who'd said yes when he had nothing to offer. He exhaled slowly. "You should have trusted me." "I know," she said, voice trembling. "But I'm trusting you now." Silence stretched, and then Liam took a step forward, closing the space between them. "All right," he said quietly. "Let's start over. No secrets. Just you and me." Ava's lips parted in relief, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "No secrets," she promised. He offered his hand again. "Then dance with me, Ava. Not the Sinclair heiress, just Ava." She smiled, the kind of smile that forgave and healed at once. As the music swelled again, they stepped back onto the floor, ignoring the stares. The whispers faded into the rhythm of the song, and for the first time that night, they weren't pretending, they were simply real.